What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We have a different scenery today. Today we are working on my buddy Dick's truck. He has a 2020 Ram 3500. This thing is a Butte 5th gen midnight. Is it midnight edition?
Yes.
It's a midnight edition, y'all. We got tons of Banks goodies that he's putting on his truck. He also was with me the last 2 months while we were out training and whatnot. So he ordered a bunch of parts for his truck, goodies and stuff. He's excited. He's actually only had this truck for not that long. I think he bought it. You bought it early this year, right? February. And this thing's sick, man. It's a clean truck. He's originally from Texas, so I think he's planning on putting this baby to work. But we've already been turning and burning, wrenching, getting it, y'all. We went ahead. So first things first, he has a bunch of Bank stuff and he has some Air Dog stuff in the back. I had to convince him to the Air Dog side because he was talking about fast, and I was like, bruh, you gotta do Air Dog, man. It's where your money's at. But he ain't playing around though. He got everything. So he got the Air Dog. This is a 165 GPH 4G, which is an excellent pump. And then he also has the Air Dog sump. So if you guys want the part number for the Air Dog sump, that's it. And then, well, this is the Air Dog kit. Y'all know what that is. But yeah, man, we got a beautiful truck here. It's bone stock, 100% emissions intact. It's gonna stay like that just because he opted, when he bought the truck, he opted for the bumper to bumper extended warranty up. I think it's good up to 100,000 miles. Right now the truck currently has 20,000 miles on it, so he has ways to go. But just because this emissions intact doesn't mean he can't like do performance mods on it and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? I think this video is good for you guys out there because obviously on my truck it's deleted. I do all sorts of wild stuff with it, but there are some guys like you in this similar situation where you got a truck that might still be under warranty. You know, but you still want to do stuff to it without voiding the warranty. Well, you can do stuff to it, you know what I'm saying? So right off the rip, and it's going to be very hard to see, but he has the hot and cold side pipes. We already installed the hot side pipe, which actually was not that bad to install. His is just a raw, unfinished, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, if you're powder coating or painting your boost tubes on these 4th gens and 5th gens, you're wasting your money because you can't even see it once the thing's installed. So you go back up in there and you can kind of see it, but we already installed that, and it actually went really smooth compared to the 4th gens. So one thing I noticed on the 5th gens is that they don't have that fat dent on the hot side pipe like the 4th gens do, which was cool. I also noticed that the manifold turbo mounting setup is different because the turbo sits higher and more forward than on the 3rd gens, which I thought, or the 4th gens, which I thought was interesting. We also went ahead and installed the Banks Monster Ram cold air intake. So he has that there, factory. It goes into the factory Ram scoop. So we've been doing some work on here already. Right now, what he's doing right now is he's starting to prep this side because he also has the Banks intake horn and the grid heater delete that he's going to be doing. So we're starting to prep this side for it. He already went ahead and loosened the cold side pipe. So when we take off the intake manifold, we're just going to pull out the old tube, put the new tube in, and we're just going to keep trucking. Weather's being a little weird today, but I mean, it is what it is. It's not going to let us stop us. But yeah, man, he got tons of goodies in here. So this is the cold side pipe right here. And then this is the factory hot side pipe. Now on the 4th gen, there's usually a big old fat dent right about here, but not on the 5th gens, which I thought was interesting. This is like my 2nd or 3rd time ever working on the 5th gen, so I like comparing the difference between, you know, 4th gen, 5th gen, 3rd gen. Obviously I used to have a 3rd gen, so I know what it's like going from a 3rd to a 4th gen, but on the 5th gens though, it's interesting. I like it though. It's a clean, slick truck, man, for sure. It's definitely not gonna give them no issues and whatnot. Besides that, boost tubes. How you think the install is going so far?
Pretty good. Easy.
Yeah,
Easier than I expected.
Yeah, dude. I think you're gonna be happy with your setup, with your choices. You went with a good company, good brand. I know people have their opinions about Banks out there, but hey, man, they make some good stuff. I have a Banks cold air intake in the garage I need to put on my truck. Speaking of, so we're gonna go ahead and get back to it, keep grinding. I think what we'll do, y'all, is once we get to the part where we're gonna start taking off the factory grid heater, once we get to that part, we'll freaking catch y'all back up. But just wanted to make a video for y'all so y'all can be able to see what's going on this truck right here. All right, y'all, so we went ahead, we made some progress just like I said we were gonna do. So come over here in the engine bay, we went ahead and pulled the stock grid heater out. It's a little challenge getting to it if you never did it before, but we pulled the grid heater out. Now the whole reason, infamously changing or deleting the grid heater, some people say more power, more airflow, whatever. Others, this right here is more of the reason. So you have that nut right there over time, and there's pictures on the internet. That nut is known for basically welding itself off, or like corroding and breaking off and going into your intake, and then you pretty much shit a piston out. So we got the stock old grid heater off, and then you see what it looks like in here. It's wide open. So you are supposed to technically pull the fuel rail out completely, but I wanted to try something out different here. Basically what I wanted to do was, because the fuel rail, the rear fuel rail pressure sensor in the back, to unplug it is a nightmare, and I don't want to risk breaking that plug or that connector. So I was able to just slide the grid heater from underneath it while leaving the fuel rail installed. Hopefully when it's time to install it, it'll go good. The gasket here, the gasket that is here from the original one, it's still intact. So like, unless there's a reason why we need to take it off, probably not going to take it off just because this one's still brand new. This truck only has 20,000 miles on it, so it's nice that everything comes off easily. The fuel lines were able to break off fine. Everything got out the way. So also you can notice here, we did take the fuel lines off. You will need to take the fuel lines off. When you take them off, you want to start from the front. So from cylinder 1 or injector 1 to 6. For the 6th one, you don't have to take off the number 6 completely. So you can see it back there. All I did was I broke it loose where it connects to the feed tube there. I broke it loose there, and then I loosened it off of the fuel rail, and you can swing, you see the fuel line chilling there, you can swing, rotate that fuel line up to get it out of the way for the fuel rail. So I don't think you have to take that full line off. You don't, because it's kind of shitty putting it on, I'm not gonna lie. And then that fuel line here for the banjo bolt, the return line, whatever it's for, that one there, I just pulled the banjo bolt and the banjo washers out, and I just left the line there, and it was able, everything worked out perfect. But yeah, you can see right here, this is what we're working with. On these 5th gens, man, they did some, every connector is like triple protected, right? So like this, for example, this connector technically has 2 forms of protection right now. It has the lock-in red tab that when you click it in, you slide it down, that's one. And then it also has that little black lever in there, so when you pinch up, you see how you pinch it, it comes up. That's 2 forms of protection. For some reason on the 5th gens, they decided to add a 5th one, which is basically a black cover that covers this, so you can't, for some ungodly reason, take it off, which makes no sense. Actually, this is what one of them looks like right here. It's just a cover, it just covers it. Like they're trying to make it tamper-proof, I guess. No matters. But yeah, this is where we're at now. Dick's been over here building up the intake horn. This thing looks good, bro.
Yep.
Goddamn. All built up. You got the EGR valve installed. We got the coil for the grid heater. So your grid heater will still, you will still have a heat option for your cold starts, which is that coil plug right there. Reinstall the throttle valve on here. So again, this is all 100% emissions intact. Doesn't affect your emission system, which is good in terms of keeping your warranty and all that good stuff. So now what we're going to do is get the new grid heater, slide it in, set the fuel rail on it, and pretty much reverse install it. Before we go to reconnect the intake manifold, we're going to go ahead and install the new boost tube for the cold side. Install that so that way when we come up here with the intake horn, we can just connect it right there at the top. And then basically we just got to button everything back up. But I had to give y'all a little update, let y'all know what it's like. Alright, you guys, so we went ahead and I buttoned it up. So as you can see, it's kind of hard to tell because a lot of stuff going on, but nonetheless, we buttoned her up. The billet plate is installed. It looks good. We got all the harnesses and lines connected, reconnected and everything. This is just something where you just have to take your time doing, but you can see the billet there. It's clean. I ended up using the gasket provided with Banks just because it's brand new, even though the one on the truck was pretty much new too. yeah, you can see right there it says, got little banks right there. That's pretty cool. So now what we're gonna do is install the boost tube and then the intake horn and then connect the batteries, and that's gonna be a wrap, man. We about to fire this thing up now, y'all. We got this thing all buttoned up. She's done. 100%. This is the first time I've ever done one of these bank grid heater deletes with their Gen 2 intake horn, but it all came together. We got the aftermarket 3.5 inch boost tubes. Comes with clamps, everything. It looks really good. Came back together, fit and finish. Banks definitely, they don't leave you hanging at the end of the day. Cold air intake also installed. Hot side pipe done. It's hard to see, you ain't gonna see it, but now we're gonna go ahead and fire it up. So you can do it, Dick. Oh yeah. And there it is. If you're wondering why it took so long to fire up, it's because when you crack your fuel lines on your fuel rail, you have to build up pressure again. I'm pretty sure it's like 32,000 PSI or 30K, or I think it's 24. I don't remember. But anyways, you got to build up a lot of pressure in your fuel rail. So when the first time you start it up, oh, it gave it a little throttle. It's not going to sound different on a emissions and TAC truck just because the DPF filter is like silencing everything, man. It acts as a muffler as well. So, but it is going to work. You know what I'm saying? Between hot and cold side pipes, cold air intake, and that intake horn, it should be doing its thing. Any lights or anything?
Nope.
Everything's Gucci.
Yep.
Hell yeah. How the pedal feel when you tap it?
Good.
Yeah? My man Dick's about to be heading out. We didn't get to install the air dog today just because it took a bit of time, but this all got buttoned up really good. I will say, if you have a 5th gen Ram and you're thinking about upgrading your boost tubes, I would look into the Banks ones because they are the easiest ones to install, in my personal opinion. They went in relatively easy. Obviously, you still got to kind of use some muscle, but it wasn't bad at all, man. So yeah, are you excited?
Oh yeah. Ready for the air dog and the pedal monster next.
Yeah, so that's another thing too. So he wants to do the pedal monster too. I told him to do the pedal monster because it made a difference on the 4th gen for sure. So I told him to do the pedal monster. I think he's gonna be really happy with this truck, especially because, you know, eventually this truck's probably gonna be making him money down the road. So hopefully we can get the air dog in Sunday. If you don't do it tomorrow, dude, we got it Sunday, man. Get it busted out. Oh, that's also another thing. So that right there, that coil with the 2 nuts on it, that is your new heater coil. So you no longer have a grid heater, you have a heater coil. So that way you're able to have cold start functions when you're starting up in the cold for a preheat. Yeah, so that's it, y'all. This is where we at now. We're gonna call this a wrap, cut, edit, and we out. Make sure you drop a like button on the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for checking out. If you really want, I can put links down below for the products that he installed in his truck, or you can just go to bankspower.com, and put your year, make, and model in. It's gonna tell you exactly what you need for your specific truck. And for my veterans and active duty out there, they do offer a, what is it, 10%? 10% military discount on that. He paid for this 100% himself. This is not sponsored by Banks, or they didn't hook us. Like, this is all him. He just wanted, you know, I offered to help him out. So, you know, we had a good day today. So, at the end of the day, I think it's gonna be good. You gotta let me know how it rides, man. Oh, yeah. I mean, on the way back home, he has a nice little 45, 50-minute drive back to his house. So, until next time, you guys take care, peace out, be safe, and I will see you guys later.